Hi there, Kurt. This is Forge. I was just watching Kerbal Space Program number 40, which I thought was really exceptional, by the way. But I almost immediately noticed a problem with your spaceplane design, specifically the lack of pseudo-staging. And so I took it upon myself while watching to create an alternate version of your spaceplane. You can see that the great majority of it is almost exactly the same. However, the engines in the back are slightly different. And I've added a few extra pieces of landing gear to make things a little more stable and rigid on takeoff. I've also added these fuel ducts here going from the center to the external. The idea here is that you take off with the center engine only. You get to approximately 10,000 meters with this single engine only. When you get to 10,000 meters, the center engine becomes oxygen starved and cuts out automatically. And as it's doing so, before you lose thrust, you engage the toroidal aerospike engines. These throw you way up into the atmosphere, but they burn fuel at an incredible rate, which leaves you at pretty much where you want to be to kick off the actual spaceplane itself and go suborbital. I haven't gotten an orbit out of it yet, but I've gotten pretty close, and I hope you enjoy watching. Yeah, that's my favorite part of Kerbal Space Program. There we go. Okay. So here we go, SAS on, throttle to full, and away we go. I generally leave throttle at full and SAS on, keeping me stuck to the ground until I hit about 100 meters per second. That's the point where the lift becomes enough that you can take off. So ramping up through 70, 80, control surfaces doing some crazy things as they always do. 90... And right about here, usually we can go gently, gently, up, and away. Gear up. And you'll see we begin to accelerate slightly. So we nose up slightly. Because we don't want to accelerate too much. This engine is not going to get you anywhere near orbital speed, so it doesn't really matter how fast it goes. Its only job is to get you up to about 10,000 meters, where everything becomes much thinner and slicker, and you can get a lot more done. So I usually try to keep it above 80 meters a second, nosing up periodically to keep it around that mark. And I'm probably going to fast forward this part because this is going to be boring. But your design overall is extremely good. I like it quite a bit. It's a very easy plane to fly. I didn't bother with any intakes because it doesn't matter. But I've taken this up. This is my third time. Suborbital every time. But the last time we actually got really, really close. I think my 2 points where my orbit converged with the planet were over 50% of the planet's diameter apart. So I actually didn't bother putting on any RCS thrusters because I figured we weren't going to be in space long enough. If I were to take out the RCS pod and add in one more fuel tank, I think you could probably get orbital out of it. But then since you're orbital, you'll actually start wanting the RCS a little more. Catch-22, I guess. Oh, but I haven't been paying attention. I need to nose up a bit more. And even a little more than that. Generally, you try not to go above the 45-degree mark, just because the flight controls get a little fiddly. You're basically ballistic at that point, so the control surfaces don't work as well. I did add some extra control surfaces on the rear, but I actually don't think these are doing much. I could probably remove most of those. And coming up on 5,000. Still holding a decent speed. I'm going to physics boost a little because I'm impatient. 5,500. 6,000. Accelerating a little much, so I will drop the accel down and bring the nose up even more. Try not to get too much past this. You get dangerously close to stall. But the idea is this first engine, which is very fuel efficient, gets you as high as possible. So having a slight arc where the engine is actually sputtering out, but you're past the ignition boundary, that's actually a good thing. Let's see, still 95% efficiency, it's still burning full. 8,000. Accelerating again. You really don't need more than one turbojet engine to get through the thick stuff. 94. Oh, now it's starting to slowly run out of air. 9,000. Usually just a little past 10K is where it starts really running out of air fast. Come up on 10K. Oh, there it goes. It's dropping off sharply. Usually when we get to about 80% efficiency, things drop off quite noticeably, quite quickly, and that's usually when I hit the aero spikes. See the airflow's dropping off, and we're starting with a weird wobble. And now's as good a time as any. Aero spikes, away! And you'll see they pull so much fuel that this goes out in no time at all. Poof! It's out of fuel. And the aero spikes, because of their design, doing their combustion after the vehicle, so you don't actually need intakes on those at all either. So, no intake on the center line because there's no place really to put it. No intakes on the aero spikes because they don't need it. So we separate, and we burn the crap out of the booster. Because who cares? So I'm actually a little vertical compared to how I normally like to go up. It seems to be working though. Give it a shot. Usually burn till apoapsis is past 100,000 meters, and then I cut engines till I'm almost on it, level out with the horizon, and burn till my gas is gone. 70, 75, 80, 85, 90, 95, 100, 105, 110, 15, 20. Yeah, it's as good a time as any. And I've got about 3/4 of a tank left to try vainly to circularize that. It's not going to happen. Alright, so we need to get up to about 130. So I'm going to warp a little, because I'm impatient. Oh, it's Dr. Sunrise. Good morning, sunshine. And let's see, take the boost off. 109, off 130. I'll wait just a little bit more. Turn SAS off. Goes over to ever so slightly below the horizon. So I'm going to continue rising in my orbit. That'll bring me pretty much dead even with the horizon as I get ready to burn. 120. I think I'll go about 125. 121. 22. This is the somewhat more boring part of the journey. 24. And go! And usually we don't quite circularize, but we get a decent orbit-looking thing out of it. Just as you think, hey, maybe you'll get an orbit, you run out of gas. Like every time. Yep. That's how it always runs. So, passing apoapsis. And vertical speed dropping to 0. And we're now decelerating again. Or descending, rather. But it's a real pleasant ride. It's a great design. Let's see. Excel till we're starting to smack into the top of the atmosphere again. Get our nose down so we don't totally lose it. I'll stop it right there. And usually we have enough velocity and enough altitude that I can glide and attempt to land on this upcoming continent that's just coming into view now. I'm going to need some more physics work because it takes too long. It seemed to have come in a little shallower than before. So I'm going to try and turn ever so slightly. Catch this landmass off to the right. Got to be extremely careful doing this. With no thrust, the slightest bit of instability, and you are a goner. This turn's happening. Whoa! Yeah, that was the wrong button. Let's not do that again. Well, maybe I'll just go for a water landing Kurt style. Oh, I'm missing my control surface. No wonder I can't yaw. Okay. We'll just turn this way. That'll burn off a lot of speed real fast, too. Whoa! Dangerously close to losing control of the aircraft. There we go. Nice landmass. Just like Mom used to make. And we've completely lost everything resembling orbital velocity, but we should have enough of coasting speed to get us over land quite comfortably. Just gotta watch our surface speed. If that starts getting down in the neighborhood of 100, things become very unstable. There's enough control surfaces on this that it does some wacky things. You can see my drag and weight are high enough that I'm losing speed all the time. All the way to the ground. Nice and level. This is the tricky part, so I'm probably going to be real quiet for a while. I apologize. I know that's boring. But then again, I'm not much better when I'm talking. Yeah, but you can see how, at this attitude, it's very easy to lose your references and end up augering in. That's never good. I mean, that's so undignified. Alright, we're breaking through 2,000 meters. Usually about 1 thou I start to flare up just a little bit. Okay. Gotta start converting that vertical speed into horizontal speed to keep the air moving over the wings. But luckily not too much. Of course I sneeze just as I'm about to land. And then we just wait for this. Oh! 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 Yeah. Well, usually flies pretty good. But it has Kurt caliber landings just about every time. Anyway, hope you've enjoyed this. Maybe it'll give you some ideas. Thanks very much.